I get a feeling it's going to be a riot.
I don't read the newspapers because they all have ugly friends.
At the starting of the week, at Summit Talks, you'll hear them speak. It's only Monday. Negotiations breaking down. See the leaders start to frown. It's more than Monday.
We are back with another edition of your favorite morning show, The Daily Dose on the Guerrilla Radio Network.
We'll be sitting, taking lunch. The news will hit you like a punch. It's only Tuesday.
But Saturday,
Ask your doctor if the Daily Dose is right for you. Common side effects include sarcasm, informed opinions, and wondering how the hell these people got elected. The Daily Dose starts now.
but Saturday.
Good morning. Good morning on Monday. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend, rested, little football, maybe a couple of cocktails over the course of the past 2 days. Rest and relaxation. Everybody's working for the weekend. In the words of the great Loverboy from 1983. Well, we are back, and you are watching your Daily Dose right here live on the Guerrilla Radio Network as we try to air this show live every Monday through Friday. Sometimes work gets in the way for me, and I don't have the ability to do it all 5 days, but I try my best to get it done as much as I possibly can. I like to say Monday through Friday, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. But nonetheless, we are here today. We are back. We had a good weekend ourselves, and we've been looking forward to getting this Monday morning show started with you. We have a lot of ground to cover. There's been a lot of stuff going on over the weekend that I'd like to talk about today. So, as I say, usually I will be your tour guide for the next 30 minutes or so, right here on the Guerrilla Radio Network. I am your host, Eric, your humble internet radio host. Let's go ahead and get started with our local weather report coming to you from Tampa. We broadcast out of Palm Harbor, our studio. So if this weather report does not apply to your certain demographic, I can't help you with that. Go put on the news and watch your own fucking weather report for all I care. Here's the Tampa Bay weather. This is all that we care about in the Guerrilla Radio Network.
Believe it or not, we still have a solid 9% of our state that is in an extreme drought. Yesterday, we need about 10 more yesterdays. Seriously, because it came down, but it didn't cause too much flooding. There was no severe weather, and it was widespread. We need more and more of those. Right now, this morning, pretty quiet. I got the tiniest little shower popping up just to the west of Crystal River. Other little pop-ups there still out over into the Gulf for now. We'll get a few of these. I don't think we're going to have as much rain on Sky Tower as we had yesterday in general, but we are going to have a few little afternoon, evening thunderstorms. I love the 70s. Brandon at 71 degrees in August. I love that. 73 in Wesley Chapel, 72 in Crystal River. It's actually warmer in Pensacola and Panama City. They're at 80. I got mid-80s for the Keys. You want me to tease you guys? Look at this. Charlotte, 69 degrees. Nashville, 64. And St. Louis is at 57. So a little touch of fall made its way down in the parts of the U.S. No, not here. Not anytime soon. Just hot and steamy for you today. There'll be a few pop-up storms. Our rain chances overall sitting at about 30%. Let's go into the tropics where it is pretty active. In fact, starting August 20th, for 6 weeks, that is the most active part of the hurricane season. So yeah, we got a couple areas of interest. One, southeast of Bermuda. But even if this develops, this is moving northward. It's going to run parallel to the U.S. Then we've got one of these big long trackers, right, coming off the coast of Africa with a 50% chance for development. This one coming off the coast of Africa, it's going to develop into a tropical storm, maybe even a hurricane. As I say that, though, watch as it just moves, plods its way across the Atlantic toward the islands. Just before reaching the islands, the computer models have it turning. Okay, and that would be good news because that's what you want. You want it to turn before it reaches the islands, then it's got no chance of really impacting anybody. And you can see that here by a week from today, well northeast of the island. So we'll watch, but that will likely become a storm, a named storm, and that'll be like everybody's focus. But it is at this point forecast to turn before the islands. 92 your high temperature for today. In fact, we'll be in the lower 90s over the next 7 days with our lows in the upper 70s. And notice how we just have 30% rain chances for the next 2 afternoons.
There you have it, everybody. It did rain, like like all the kids are saying, like cats and dogs yesterday. Where did that phrase even come from? Raining like cats and dogs. Doesn't make sense to me. I'd have to look that up on the old Google machine and see where that phrase originated. But nonetheless, it was raining, in fact, like cats and dogs over here in Tampa Bay area yesterday. I mean, pouring, dumping. So well-needed rain, help my grass a little bit, make sure that it's a little bit greener than it was the day before, and, cooled things down a little bit. So I'm not complaining about it. It was nice. It was actually a bit cool in the air yesterday as the cats and dogs came crashing down onto the roof of my home. Lots of good stuff in the news today. Lots of good stuff. We've got famous band from the 1990s getting into an accident. We've got a man on a dirt bike going crazy, running from the police. Jewelry heists, national debt coverage. We've got a warship being renamed. And then, of course, today marks day one of the Canadian tariffs that are imposed on our neighbors to the north. So without any further delay, let's get into this. This band was pretty popular in the 90s. And I think they're still they must still be touring because their tour bus got into an accident. So I haven't heard much about these gentlemen in quite some time. But nobody got hurt, but one person is what they like to call dead as fuck.
We also have new details out of Spartanburg County. A deadly crash involved a tour bus of a popular early 2000s rock band, Buckcherry. It happened Friday morning on Interstate 26 near Dorman High School in Roebuck. Troopers say a driver who was involved in an earlier crash was outside of their vehicle and was hit by another car. Troopers say the pedestrian died on the scene. The band Buckcherry released a social media statement on Saturday morning announcing all band members and touring crews were uninjured in this crash. The band said their next scheduled performance in Florida that will go on as planned. That person's name has not been released.
That's crazy. You imagine being involved in an accident, traumatizing enough when the initial accident happens. Then you're outside of your vehicle, assessing the damage, happy to still be alive and uninjured. And then while you're on the side of the road, doing your business, exchanging insurance information, talking about what happened with the other driver on the side of the road, you just get plowed over by an oncoming vehicle, and you are dead as fuck. There you go on the side of the road. Terrible. Absolutely terrible, but it happens every day. So pick up the pieces and move on, people. All right. Now let's talk about this guy is absolutely insane, and how he didn't kill anybody, including himself, it's incredible to me how it didn't happen. But so apparently this guy was on a dirt bike and he was running from the cops in the middle of Los Angeles. This happened right before the weekend, and the footage that the news outlet has covering this story as it was unfolding live is pretty impressive, because you can see this guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to ride a dirt bike, and just watch this clip. It's pretty crazy.
LAPD, look at people running through the park. LAPD in the park, now crossing through this major intersection. Unbelievable what we are seeing here. I've never seen anything like this in all of my years of covering pursuits. He just coordinated a drop-off, filled up with, or I don't know if he filled up, but put a little bit of gas in that tank that was waiting for him in the middle of the park, and managed to now get back on the road. He has 9 lives, this guy. It's unbelievable.
Right now at 11 o'clock, a wild dirt bike chase through the streets and parks of South LA. Many of you watching it live right here in ABC 7. That rider at times going off-road and making erratic maneuvers. Eyewitness News reporter Liz Nagy is live with new images of the reckless riding and how this all came to an end. Liz?
David, you helped our viewers see it through at the 6 o'clock hour earlier tonight. Police chased this bike riding suspect for at least an hour, almost entirely on city streets around LA, and as you mentioned, through 2 different city parks. At one point, sending people running from an off-roading LAPD police cruiser. Now tonight, we have learned from police that call originally came in as a man causing a disturbance with a gun, and police also tell us that bike he was riding was stolen.
Pursuing this dirt bike driver who is armed and dangerous.
Speeding from police through the streets of South LA.
He was flying all the way down towards the 105 freeway.
Weaving through alleyways and clipping cars.
Squeezed right through there.
This dirt bike riding suspect showed no regard for safety.
Pulls into this gas station. He will be cornered here momentarily. He is trying to get gas.
Managing to pull off to refuel and quickly outmaneuvering LAPD's lag time.
Oh, pulled the pump. Pulled the pump. This is really getting crazy really quick.
Helmetless and seemingly unafraid, the two-wheeled fugitive showed no shame and no adherence to the hands-free phone laws either.
Dialing buddies up like there's no tomorrow. Second time, he is actually talking into the speakerphone like he's on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Then the rush hour game of cat and mouse with cops over city streets suddenly diverted.
Oh! Off-roading.
That detour appeared to be calculated.
What in the world? He got somebody to put gas in a gallon container for him and leave it in the park. He just put gas in that bike. I've never seen anything like this in all of my years of covering pursuits. He just coordinated a drop-off.
With a fresh top off of fuel, the dirt bike continued zipping through South LA streets, taunting law enforcement and evading Air 7 as he sped into LAX airspace, bailing off the bike and making one final run.
Jumping fences on foot. He is now hiding in a trash bin.
He biked, he ran, he hid, but LAPD officers closed in on West 112th Street. One resident's home surveillance cameras caught the mass of officers running in as the fleeing suspect ran out of options.
Still has his phone to his ear. As it appears, LAPD has the suspect at gunpoint.
And finally backed straight into police custody. Now tonight, LA.
That's wild. I mean, that guy, I love that guy. You know what I mean? That's incredible. How frustrating does that have to be if you're the officer trying to chase this guy, and then he just goes from the pavement onto the grass and flies right through it, because those dirt bikes are, obviously nimble. They can move rather quickly. I don't think obviously they can't go as fast as the cruiser could go, top speed, but it can definitely accelerate and pull away from it, and it can go into places that the police cars cannot go. So it's got to be incredibly frustrating to be the police officer that was chasing him, especially the lead police car, because, the guy can just do whatever he wants to do at that point. And then he had a gallon of gas in a Zephyr Hills bottle, and he stopped, knew exactly where it was, filled up his tank, and kept on going. That guy's awesome. You know what I mean? Stupid criminal. I don't know why he, they said he had a gun and blah, 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 whatever. I'm sure he probably was up to no good. Then he stole that dirt bike and took off on it. But that made for a very exciting chase on television in the Los Angeles area over the weekend. So yeah, that's a crazy story. Then we got another story in the news about a stupid criminal. He likes jewelry. He goes down to the kiosk in the local mall, maybe the Piercing Pagoda. Do they still have those? I haven't been to a mall and looked around. They're all dying, because I don't know. Maybe the Piercing Pagoda is still there. Maybe he went to the Piercing Pagoda and said, "Show me all your gold jewelry. I want to make an informed purchase based upon the quality of the jewelry that you have to offer me today." Takes a look at him, and while he's looking at all of the gold chains at the Piercing Pagoda, he just snatches them all and runs away. Of course, he got caught because he tried to pawn them like an idiot. So here's a little bit about that story.
More from the Treasure Coast tonight. A bold robbery caught on security video. A man taking tens of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. And tonight, the Martin County Sheriff's Office has their suspect in custody. Our Light has video of the crime and details of the clues that made the arrest much easier.
This crime actually happened last month, July 20th. It took a little while, but the suspect is now facing felony charges. And investigators here at the Martin County Sheriff's Office tell me that suspect made it pretty easy to find him. This is security video from inside the Treasure Coast Mall in Jensen Beach. The Martin County Sheriff's Office has identified the man at the counter of the jewelry kiosk as 25-year-old Desmond Johnson.
He actually comes up and pretends to be a customer, engages with the clerk for a few minutes.
Lieutenant Morales says Johnson actually walked away at one point before coming back and asking for a closer look at the jewelry.
The clerk brings out a tray of, let's say, I think 7 or 8 less expensive necklaces, according to him. And he just grabs the tray and runs out.
According to the police report, Johnson ran off with 9 necklaces valued from about $850 to more than $4,500. In all, more than $22,000 in jewelry. Fortunately, there are cameras outside the mall which showed investigators what vehicle Johnson drove off in.
We were able to get the tag from that vehicle, making it pretty easy for us. The vehicle came back to an address in Lauderhill, so down in Broward County.
And that's where this next video comes from. This is a pawn shop right near the Broward County address that vehicle is registered to. Detectives stopped in to see if Johnson was a customer.
Lo and behold, the owner there says, yeah, he was just in here trying to pawn a few necklaces. So, again, making it pretty easy for our detectives.
Johnson was arrested soon after, and Lieutenant Morales says that's a good thing because he says although this robbery was not violent, the next one might have been.
I would say
what a moron. You know what I mean? It's first of all, Sheriff Grady Judd down here in Polk County, Florida. I talk about him on this show all the time. His biggest thing, and he says it all the time, is that there are cameras everywhere in this day and age. I mean, everywhere. I mean, from your doorbell to your outside of your roof on your home to the eye in the sky, everywhere you go in retail stores, banking institutions, parking lots. I mean, there's license plate readers out there that pick up your license plate as you're speeding past at 80 miles an hour. Does this idiot not think that he's going to get caught? I mean, obviously he looks like Jay-Z on crack. So, with that fucked up haircut that he's got going on there, deal on his head. And, he's not necessarily going to blend in with the community looking that way. So, with that being said, obviously he's going to be picked up on any camera anywhere he goes. And he's going to get caught. I mean, the guy's he's a complete moron at the end of the day. And he, of course, did get caught because he went to the pawn shop. Like, there's no cameras in a pawn shop. You know what I mean? Like, they don't take your fingerprints and track all your information when you go and pawn something. So that way, if it does come back stolen, they can identify you and go and pick you up at your home. He's a fucking idiot. But it makes for a really funny story, though. And it makes for good story on this show because we love covering idiots in the news. And he did not disappoint, my friends. Now, without any delay, let's take a quick commercial break and hear from our sponsors. W Energy, clean, no jitters, no crash, just focus and all natural energy. Enter the promo code Gorilla Radio at checkout for 10% off your entire order and exclusive member discounts. W Energy, lock in, stay sharp, and dominate your day. You heard it here, folks. W Energy, I always say, if you're a gamer, you like to sit on that couch for 18, 20 hours a day playing video games, and you need extra focus to get to that 20th hour. Or if you're a gym rat, you'd like to go work out, get your pump going. W Energy is your huckleberry. Get yourself some W Energy. Go to www.w.gg. And when you check out, enter the promo code Gorilla Radio. And the Gorilla Radio Network and myself will personally give you 10% off your entire order when you check out. W Energy, stay focused, stay sharp, stay sitting on your couch for 18 hours a day eating hot dogs and potato chips because you can't get up from that computer. to go and get yourself a real meal from your kitchen. Understood. We got a little bit of breaking news going on right now on the television right overhead. There is a massive, massive fire in Los Angeles County, California. This is nuts if you look at it. There's like I don't know really what's going on in the story. It doesn't really say, but I mean, this structure, this building, it looks like some sort of an outdoor mall or some sort of a, like maybe a retail center is completely engulfed in flames, and the entire city is filled with smoke. There's firemen up on booms, spraying water down as they would normally with any fire of this caliber, and they're trying to contain it. So we'll definitely keep an eye on this, and if anything else happens, we'll keep you updated. If you got friends in Los Angeles, give them a call and see if they know what's going on with these shenanigans, because I think in California it should be about 5:48 in the morning, so they're about 3 hours behind us right now. So this sun's not even up over there, so your friends may not be awake yet. So forget what I just said. Or give them a call, wake them up. I don't give a fuck. It's your friends, not mine. Fuck it. Let's talk about financial stress. Everybody goes through it. Everybody has it from time to time. You know, sometimes you don't have enough money to pay the electric bill, or you're struggling because you know you need to put food in your refrigerator to get through the next week until payday. So what do? Maybe you borrow some money at that point, you know, just to get through and get things done. Well, the United States likes to do that too as a country. And we've borrowed so much money and we've spent so much money that our debt now has exceeded 40 trillion with a T dollars. It's the highest national debt in the history of the United States. That's a lot of money. That's like unthinkable money. They always say, what is fuck you money? That's fuck you money. That's Elon Musk money times 40. Actually, he's not even a trillionaire anymore. His stock at SpaceX is starting to kind of level out a little bit. I believe it's down below the initial IPO, if I'm not mistaken. But any hoot, the country's debt is not going anywhere. It's only going up, and it's going up, and it's on the rise greater and greater with every passing minute.
The United States set a grim record this week. For the first time ever, the national debt has surpassed $40 trillion, and unfortunately, it's accumulating fast.
Fox's Rebecca Castor has more from Washington, where lawmakers have done very little to address this issue.
A stunning number now staring back on the national debt clock. It's officially topped $40 trillion after years of ballooning government spending and an escalating deficit.
Republicans have been good at cutting taxes. They've been horrific in the spending department. Until you pass a balanced budget amendment, I don't think we actually solve this problem.
While a few lawmakers have been vocal about addressing the debt crisis, most politicians have looked the other way and continue to vote for bills that add trillions to the government's debt. President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill, for example, is projected to add over $3 trillion to the deficit over the next 10 years. But he's looking toward outside investment in the U.S. to spur economic growth.
But we have more money being invested in the United States than any country at any time in history. Money's coming in by the trillions.
Both parties bear responsibility for the staggering debt, but it's accumulated quickly under Trump. It took less than 10 years for the national debt to double, and less than 5 months to go from $38 trillion to $39, and just another 5 months to reach $40. Another troubling sign for the U.S. economy is the bond sell-off, which led the Treasury Department to double the amount of U.S. government bonds it buys back to calm the market.
Trump just cracks me up. I mean, I can't get enough of the guy. I talk about him all the time on the show, and we like to poke fun and have a good time with it. But in all seriousness, he just blatantly lies about everything, about everything. You ask him a question, he deflects. If he doesn't like the question, he blames the media outlet for being fake and just goes on a tangent about that if he doesn't want to give the correct answer. Obviously, in that little clip that you heard right there, we've got money being poured into this country by the trillions. Where the fuck is it? You know what I mean? Like what, it's incredible. If you look at Roy Cohen's playbook, and I know a lot of you know who I'm speaking about, he was basically, Roy Cohen was basically Donald Trump's mentor in the early years, an attorney. And his book basically said, if you don't have the answer, deflect. I mean, it's written down. It just lie and make the problem go away. Make it somebody else's problem. And he literally understands that and executes that playbook to a T. And as a sitting president of the United States, I just don't understand how it's possible that he continues to do it. And in his own mind, he believes that he's fooling the American public. And, you know, yes, there are some out there that still believe his rhetoric and believe what he's saying. But at the end of the day, I would have to imagine that people see things through clear eyes, much as myself and like I do. And, you know, my friends and family, you know, we all kind of feel the same way. And it's just incredible how all he does is just lie about everything when he's asked a question, and deflects and blames the media for reporting fake news when they're clearly not. They're just asking questions in press conferences. It's pretty amazing. But anyway, so yeah, national debt 40 trillion with a T, $40 trillion. A little bit more than my weekly paycheck or biweekly paycheck. And I totally understand how problematic this could be moving forward. And we'll see. You know what I mean? It's only going to get bigger and bigger. You heard it right there in that report. You know, the big, beautiful bill is going to add another $3 trillion to our deficit over the next X amount of years. So looking forward to seeing that top $50 trillion and, you know, watching the economy in the United States collapse at that point. So invest in gold. It's the only thing you can do at this point. You know, it's your safest bet, because once everything else around tanks, your money's gone. At least gold's tangible. You can hold it. You can lick it if you want to. You can rub it all over your ass and know that it's still got the same value that it did before you actually put your saliva and your stinky butthole all over it, which is good in my opinion. There's a warship out there that's being built right now, excuse me, that was named after a true American patriot in the U.S. Navy. This gentleman, during wartime, was a true American hero and very deserving of this ship being named after him. And now he's trying to have that, or he's going to have that honor possibly stripped from him and given a different name, a name that we all know all so well.
Under Pete Hegseth's leadership, we could see an unprecedented change to who is honored by our nation's military. Navy leadership is reportedly working to rename a new aircraft carrier that's under construction. And instead of honoring a heroic sailor, as was planned, they would name it instead for President Trump. That is according to 3 sources familiar with internal discussions who talked to CNN. NBC News has also confirmed the story. We should note the Navy directed CNN's questions to the Defense Department, which said it had nothing to announce at this time. But as we absorb this news, which would give an unprecedented honor to a sitting president, we also wanted to talk about Doris Miller, the man the ship is supposed to be named for. Doris Dory Miller was born in Waco, Texas, and enlisted in the U.S. Navy in 1939. The son of sharecroppers, played a key role defending U.S. forces during Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. On that day, according to the National Museum of the Pacific War, Miller was retrieving laundry when bombs began falling. He was a mess attendant, 3rd class, one of the few roles open to black men in the Navy at that time. Miller, quote, arrived on deck where he encountered his mortally wounded commanding officer and carried him to safety. He proceeded to one of the machine guns, and although black sailors never received training on the anti-aircraft guns, he opened fire on the Japanese planes overhead. After the gun ran out of ammunition, Miller assisted in evacuating sailors after the order to abandon ship and was one of the last 3 men to leave the vessel as it sank. Even after leaving the ship, he helped numerous sailors to safety. Miller was the first black service member to receive the Navy Cross, the Navy's 2nd highest honor. The USS Doris Miller would be the first aircraft carrier named after a black and an enlisted sailor. But now, the same defense secretary who has reportedly blocked the promotions of numerous black and female officers may take that incredible honor away in order to honor a president who never served in our military.
Wowee, wow, wow, wow. That's all I can say about that. Wowee, wow, wow, wow. How is that even a possibility in this day and age? You know what I mean? It doesn't, and none of that makes any sense. The guy obviously is a decorated war hero, didn't even have the ability at that time as an African American man to hold any other position aside from a cleaning position, graciously accepted that job to serve the U.S. military, the military that was trying to oppress him at the time and the country that was oppressing him at the time. And yet he still found it within his soul and his heart to go and serve this country. After that, defends his ship and his fellow crewmates, and one of the last 3 men aboard the ship before it actually sunk, which means he was there from start to finish, doing nothing but good and saving his fellow crewmates. Absolutely worthy of a Navy Cross under any circumstances. Absolutely worthy. And then you're going to try to strip that gentleman's name from the aircraft carrier, which is being built, and going to honor his presence and his U.S. Navy abilities, and then give it to Donald Trump. I wonder if they're going to paint the aircraft carrier gold. That'd be kind of cool. You know what I mean? If it does get named after Donald Trump, if they put a gold reflective paint all over it, so that way we know it's him. Maybe put a giant Trump name or a giant T on the side of it, so that we all know whose boat that is coming down the Strait of Hormuz when it finally gets finished and activated and put into service. That'd be kind of cool. You know what I mean? Put a giant T on the side of it. This country's going to hell in a handbasket. It's a fucking disgrace. Oh my God. Today's the day we've all been waiting for. We've all been looking forward to this day. Canada, United States, tariffs. They start today.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Saturday. Tonight, relations between the U.S. and its longtime neighbor and free trading partner Canada are in uncharted territory. Prime Minister Mark Carney says the country feels attacked by President Trump on trade and is now, quote, at war with the United States. The tough talk coming after the last-minute collapse of trade talks and new punishing U.S. tariffs. Consumers and businesses on both sides of the border could soon feel the effects of the fallout. CBS's Olivia Rinaldi leads us off tonight from the White House. Olivia, good evening.
Good evening, Jerika. The Canadian Prime Minister said those dollar-for-dollar retaliatory tariffs on American steel, electronics, and other goods will go into effect on September 8th. The immediate concern right now, can a deal still be reached between these two longtime trading partners and allies?
We cannot accept what they've offered, and we will not give what they've asked.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney standing up to the U.S. and President Trump's trade demands, claiming they are unfair. But the top U.S. trade negotiator, Jameson Greer, blamed Canada for the last-minute breakdown.
And they've always had the best deal, and they still would have an even better deal, but they didn't want that.
The 50% tariffs, effective today, impact several Canadian exports, including lumber, steel, and cement. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce is among business groups warning both countries' economies could be damaged, driving up prices. Jennifer Hillman is a trade expert.
The potential for a trade war to have a major effect on either the U.S. or Canada is very significant.
But Canada is in a fighting mood after President Trump's first tariff threats.
It would be a cherished state.
And taunts about Canada becoming America's 51st state.
Why does it feel like today Mark Carney is going to war? Trade war.
Because we're attacked. Like you're at war when you get attacked. We got attacked.
At a political rally in South Carolina last night, President Trump said polls showing voter disapproval of his economic performance are wrong.
I should be at 100% on the economy, but you're going to see it in a short period of time.
But gas prices, driven up by the president's war in Iran, remain high, over $4 a gallon nationwide.
And tonight we are hearing pushback on these tariffs from Maine Republican Senator Susan Collins. She's asking the administration to reconsider them. As for the president, so far silence on these developments.
Oh, there you go. So I'm looking forward to seeing increased prices in other sectors as well. So that'll be a good thing. You know, that'll be really good when Canada imposes those tariffs, which start, I believe they start on September 8th, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, dollar for dollar, tariff for tariff. Canada says, you know, fuck you, United States. We're going to do it. Donald Trump says the polling numbers are wrong. Of course, he said that. And that's where we are. You know what I mean? So things are looking good. The economy is at an all-time high. We have the hottest country in the world, according to Rolling Stone magazine and Donald Trump. And things are moving in the right direction for the rich. Let's conclude our daily show today. I'm still watching this breaking news story on this fire. It's pretty incredible. I mean, click on the news after this and take a look at it for yourself. I mean, the whole fucking building is completely destroyed. Guys, it's been a great show as always. Mondays usually go a little bit longer because I have a lot to cover from the weekend. So this Monday did not disappoint. We will see everyone tomorrow on Your Daily Dose, Guerrilla Radio Network. In the meantime, between now and then, do yourself a favor. Go to www.w.gg and use the promo code Guerrilla Radio at checkout so I can give you 10% off your entire order. Stay focused, stay sharp, game for 20 hours a day for all I give a fuck. It doesn't matter to me, whatever you want to do. But whatever you do, make sure you do it with Dubby. Hey, I just coined a new phrase. Follow us on all socials, Facebook, Guerrilla Radio Network, Instagram, Guerrilla Radio 47, or you can subscribe, and follow us on our YouTube channel at OG Guerrilla Radio. I look forward to doing the show with you again tomorrow. It'll be another one for the books. In the meantime, enjoy your Monday. Don't work too hard. And if you do, I don't know what to say. Fuck off. I'm doing you all night. Scratches all down my back to keep me right on. Hey, you're crazy bitch, but you're so good. I'm on top of it when I dream. I'm doing you all night. Scratches all down my back to keep me right on.